The government has reached its target to recruit 20,000 more police officers in England and Wales. It has employed 20,951 more officers since 2019 through its Uplift scheme, taking the total number to 149,572. This means the number of officers is about 3,500 higher than it was in 2010, when the Conservatives and Liberal Democrats entered government and began cutting police numbers. The increase was promised in the Conservatives' 2019 election manifesto. Home Secretary Suella Braverman said, "We have delivered on the promise we made to the British people, which means more police on the beat preventing violence, solving burglaries and cracking down on antisocial behaviour." But there are concerns that the rise hasn't kept pace with the increase in population since 2010 and that many experienced officers have left. Is there a record number of police officers? In 2010, there were 146,030 police officers in England and Wales, including part-time employees, which was the highest number on record. The number of police officers fell by about 20,000 between 2010 and 2019, after government funding was cut by 20%. More than 50,000 new police officers needed. Met Chief has concerns over rapid hiring of officers. Have police numbers kept up with the growing population? While the number of police officers is a few thousand higher than 2010 levels, the population has grown by about 7% since then. If the number of officers in England and Wales had risen in line with the population since 2010, there would need to be thousands more officers. Ms. Braverman told BBC News that in 2019, we set that 20,000 target accounting for increases in population. We have asked the Home Office how they did this. How many police officers are leaving? In the year to March 2022, the number of full-time police officers leaving the force reached a 20-year high of 8,117. Half of those leaving retired. Police officers can claim their pensions in their 50s. However, an increasing proportion resigned, about 40% in 2021-22, compared with a third the year before. About 9% of newly recruited officers leave during their 2-year probation periods, a report by the Public Accounts Committee, which examines government projects, found last year. Ben Julian Harrington, Chief Constable of Essex Police, said his force had received more than 900 new officers as part of the Police Uplift program. However, he is concerned some will leave because of low salaries and the rising cost of living. "You can't arrest your gas bill," he said. To keep new officers, he said he would speak up for them and make sure they are trained and supported. Are police officers less experienced? There are now fewer senior full-time police officers than in 2010. The number of inspectors is down 14% to 6,245. The number of superintendents and sergeants has also fallen. Currently, a third of all police officers in England and Wales have fewer than 5 years' experience where the length of service is known. This is more than double the number 6 years ago. The Public Accounts Committee has linked falling levels of experience with the government's drive to recruit new officers. Dame Meg Hillier, who heads the committee, said, "The danger is if you go up and down with police numbers and then recruit very quickly, you end up with a larger number of more junior officers, without the experienced people above them. This could affect police force performance." In June 2022, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, the police watchdog, placed the Metropolitan Police in special measures. In a letter to the force, HM Inspector Matt Parr said systemic failures had been amplified by the presence of a relatively young, inexperienced workforce, a consequence of the Met's increased recruitment enabled by the Police Uplift program. The BBC has spoken to officers who joined a Met Police scheme to recruit graduates to be detectives without first serving in uniform. They describe being left to cope on their own with growing caseloads. One of them, who didn't want to be named, said he was given 12 cases on his first day in CID, Criminal Investigation Department. From that point, he said, "I was swimming upstream." Another described his time as a detective as the worst year of my life. He said his CID unit was staffed almost entirely by trainees and he was worried he might make a mistake that affected a case or a victim of crime. Both trainee detectives have now left the Met, and say about 10 of their 30 fellow recruits have done the same. The Met Police was the only force that did not meet its allocated target of additional officers. It fell short by of its 4,557 target by 1,089.